feel like I had a place in the art curriculum. Had there been some kind of curriculum that said, okay, we're going to teach you how to draw or something like that, that would have been great. That would have given me confidence. But otherwise, it wasn't an art school. And maybe had I gone to an arts-oriented school, there would have been more opportunity. But I'm just fascinated by art always in general. And I love doing art myself.
Hello and welcome. On this season of the podcast, I get to sit down with artists and sponsors involved in the 2024 studio tour put on by Great Falls Studios in Virginia. And this is the annual art festival where visitors have access to creators with an emphasis on learning about and sometimes getting involved in the artist's creative process. The tour takes place this year on Saturday, October 19th and Sunday, October 20th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can find out more on www.greatfallsstudios.com. So that's www.greatfallsstudios.com. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Hey, okay, I'm hoping that this is really recording properly with audio. This is my life. Either it's recording through the car system or through my AirPod. I'm not sure which one's going to capture what, but here's hoping that it's not too noisy for you. So I'm Sylvanna from Wolfgang and Luke, and it's been hard to find some time just to do a little podcast on my little gallery and about what's coming up for Studio Tour. It's just been a wildly busy time. I have a little one, so I'm on my way to the school pickup today. It's a half day for, I guess, teacher development, and then we're going into the Columbus Day weekend. So next weekend is the big studio tour. The gallery is really going to be set up during the course of next week. So I feel like taking you to the gallery would accomplish things somewhat, but it wouldn't show what's coming up. But I wanted to get something out on the table and edited in time to put up for your consumption, just in case it's of interest. I'm currently driving you around. I'm giving you a tour at the same time. So I would also find it probably a little difficult to just sit there and talk to a screen and do a monologue. So I'll multitask here by driving you around. We are driving from Great Falls to Chantilly, where my daughter goes to school. Right now, we are on the Fairfax County Parkway. So everyone's going the limit at 50 miles an hour. So bang on. Good job, people. Not sure what you can see dangling. Yeah, I've got my plastic Jesus. I shared that song with my daughter, and so she wanted a little plastic Jesus there. And St. Christopher, protecting us as we go along the roads here. Much needed, I guess, everywhere. I would say, in Northern Virginia, but I think it's everywhere. Anyway, down to the gallery and studio tour. What people can expect is we're going to have some new art up that wasn't shown last year. Last year, I really just showcased children's art, and none of it was really for sale. It was just to demonstrate kind of the progression of, namely, mostly my daughter's work, from baby to toddler to preschooler, just to kind of, impress upon people like the deliberate nature that children can have, and their exploration. And I just wanted to celebrate that. So this year I will be having art showing from Sephora Hagigi. I always want to say Hagigi, but it's Hagigi. Heather Smiley will be showcasing, we'll have her works, and Heather will actually be on site. And so you can come and meet her, and we're going to be hosting some plein air painting workshops on the Saturday morning and Sunday morning, 10 to 12. You can sign up for those by going to wolfgangandluke.com, and there's an events page. So that's what's going on there. Then we're also going to be having Laura Guadagno in for Saturday from 2 to 4. It's interesting. She does both like botanical drawings and also geometric kind of abstract drawings. And she colors with pencil crayons, colored pencils. I guess is the adult name for them. But, and they're going to be different quality as from the Laurentian. Although that might be a Canadian brand, I'm not sure. But I think that Laurentian is kind of the Canadian equivalent of Crayola, although probably a lot smaller a company. Over to the left here is Reston Town Center. You can't see it. I would showcase it. But anyway, if we turn to left here, this would take us into this little planned community called Reston Town Center, which is, they're calling it kind of the Silicon Valley of the East. This area is known as the Silicon Valley of the East. And then down in Charlottesville, or they call, I think the vineyards have worked on becoming the Napa Valley of the East, although that is definitely, in my opinion, a work in progress. There's some good ones. I'm not an aficionado, or aficionada, I guess, would be the feminine of that. And then over there is Herndon, and Herndon has a really cute little historic area. Right. So we've got Laura coming in on Saturday, and, you can bring your own paper and practice with her. You can see how she does her art. So please, by all means, I'll have tables set up and chairs so you can come in and sit down and do some creative work. And then also, I have books from Penny Rosberg, who is a local artist and children's author, and she's going to be doing a book reading on both Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 11. So please bring in your kids. I'm also going to be having a few activities for kids to just, enjoy. So last year I had some, kids could come in and paint, but this is going to be a little bit more structured, a little bit more. I'm not going to be giving any formal lessons, but there's just going to be, kind of little things that kids can complete and hopefully have a lot of fun. So again, I love giving through the gallery kids lessons, and I'm building that up. I'm enjoying it. I'm kind of learning what I can teach. I don't have a formal teaching background, or my degree in the University of Toronto was history. So I did take some art history in there, but had left kind of studio art back in grade 7 because I managed to fail a project, and I didn't feel like I had a place in the art curriculum. Had there been some kind of curriculum that said, okay, we're going to teach you how to draw or something like that, that would have been great. That would have given me confidence. But otherwise, it wasn't an art school. And maybe had I gone to an arts-oriented school, there would have been more opportunity. But anyway, but who knows? But I'm just fascinated by art always in general. And I love doing art myself. So I do pet portraits. So I'll have some pet portraits on display also. I usually do commissions. So they're going to be pictures of commissions and stuff like that. So although I'm working on hopefully a couple of pieces that you'll be able to see the work in person. A couple of additional artists are my dad, actually. He's got a degree in fine arts. He's a furniture designer now, and has had his successful company running it with my mom for the past 43 years. But he's returned to the canvas. So it's exciting. He won't be there, I don't think, but I've got 3 pieces from him, and I'm excited to show those. That's abstract. And then last but not least is an artist who I met recently, who's a fellow soccer referee. So one of the things that I love to do, again, it connects me to the kids, it gets me outside running around, is soccer refereeing. So I referee from, let's see, I guess it's probably U9. I don't know. I can't remember what age they start. And then up to high school. So that's the highest I've done. Although, no, I've done some adult games too, but those just on the line. But anyway, it's fun. It's fun to have the whole gamut of first-time players, first-time coaches, all the way up to, high school. The kids are, going for maybe the college team or the college scholarships. So you've got really high level. And it reminds me of when I used to play in high school, although I was not nearly as good. These kids are amazing. I'm really impressed with Northern Virginia soccer, and the coaching, the strategy, anyway, there's a lot there. I love the referee program. Anyway, I can go into that some other time. But so Doug Fuller he does collage and sculpture, and he loves rust. So he works with rusted pieces, that he finds. So he's like a found art or a found material artist. And, and he's just such a delightful person. It's either I go down Springhaven or Stringfellow, and I always get confused because they look somewhat familiar. But anyway, so we are in Chantilly now. And anyway, so Doug, he's going to be showcasing his work. And so I think it's going to be a really nicely well-rounded experience for everyone to come and see. In addition, I've got kind of knick-knacky things. For smaller purchases, I've got, we had a children's art contest in the spring, and I've got some posters that I created from that. So you can pick some of those delightful pieces up. And I've got pottery. My cousin, Roberto in Mexico, he makes his own design of pottery. It's minimalistic. It's chic. It's not what you think of when you think of Mexican pottery. It's not the traditional talavera kind of style, but I also do have some of that more traditional product as well in the store. So if you're looking for little gifts or something for your home, and we have, some books. We've got Penny's books, and we've got my friend Stephanie Van Steelen, her book about Beatrice Patton, Lady of the Army. I've got those on hand, signed copies. This is always the tricky one. In Virginia, we've got these, I hope you can see it, it's got these like huge booms of light. So every lane gets its own light, traffic light. And I don't think I've seen it anywhere else quite like here. And then they've got these amazingly huge street signs in these big intersections. And it's just like, this is at least like I went through one where the boom went like diagonally across the intersection. So it's quite the feat. Yes. So, I've got some smaller ticket sale items that you can come in. I've got activities for kids, adults. Outside, I'm weather permitting, although I've got a canopy that I can use. I'm hoping I'm going to try a little collaborative project thing where I have a whiteboard / magnetic board, and I'm going to get I've got like the little poetry letters, and people can come and kind of create poetry on there. I'll have some markers out there so people can draw. And then I'm also going to have, I've got this little kind of 4-sided drawing station for kids. So it's at their level. So they can come and do a drawing and then take the paper off and take it home if they want, or leave it. Or if anybody wants to come and do a drawing or something like that, by all means. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to setting it all up. Sorry for the kind of on-the-go little interview here, or monologue. Maybe when I'm in my studio sometime and it's kind of calmed down time-wise, then I'll talk more about my craft of painting portraits. I will say that, I've always enjoyed drawing and painting, and I think I'm not sure exactly when it kicked in, if it was from photography that I took. I wanted to be a journalist at one point. I dabbled in photojournalism. I took portrait classes, all extracurricular, while I was in high school. So I didn't do art in the actual high school. I took continuing education courses at the local college, at Sheridan College in Oakville in Canada. That's where I'm from. And so I really enjoyed, working with, adults. I was just 17 at the time or something like that. But, I got in and it was a little bit more, maybe more structured or something, and working with professionals and, learning from them. My sense of composition, maybe of learning how to fill the space, and coupled with I then moved to New York City, went to the MoMA quite a bit and just stared at Matisse's and really enjoyed those. Between the two, I like to fill structure. I like a strong composition. I like to fill up the whole canvas, and then playing with the backgrounds. And I had moved to New York and I missed my dog a lot. And so I just did one painting, one small little painting. And my dad had said, graphically, it's very intriguing. It's strong. And then I started to do more. And what I came to realize, like, I love thinking about the composition, not thinking about it too much. If it happens, what happens. What I first do is I get the dog down, and I really want to get the dog's personality, the way, the structure of the dog and the tilt of the head, the eyes. I really want to, capture that, the essence of their being. And I fall in love with each dog, that I paint. And I love to get to know the dog through the painting. And I'll just work off a photograph. I don't have the dog pose. I don't think that would work. But that would be an interesting, actually, activity in itself. But yeah, I just work from pictures. And so I'll just say to my client, well, send me a bunch of pictures that you like. It could be just one picture, or if you have a few that you really like, and then I'll pick the one that, I think will be great. And I'll work with that. And then, so I want to get the dog. And sometimes there's a request, say, for a certain background. And then other times I'll see a background come out, or I'll want to do something a little bit different, a little bit creative, and I'll let that happen. Now that's the catch point with commissions. It's kind of like, well, there's, I get caught up sometimes with accurate representation, or people do want a specific background. And so you're saying, okay, I'm going to achieve that for them. But then there's also sometimes where you're just kind of like, oh, I just want to, I'm inspired to take it to over here, play around with these colors, or do some kind of other graphic expression around them that not everyone has always taken to, but eventually they come around to, because the dogs themselves are strong enough for them. So yeah, so that's what I love doing. My goal as an artist is to be able to include a human in there, or so I'm working on human portraits as well. And that's kind of exciting, because I think, well, there's all kinds of portraiture styles, and what's going to be mine that really comes out, I don't know yet. But it's exciting to have something like that to work on. So I feel very grateful as an artist. It took me a long time to say I'm an artist, but I enjoy it so much that how could I not? When I create something, I feel so good. It really fulfills something. So, and if the person who, contracted the commission loves it, then, I'm in seventh heaven. That's my background, largely self-taught. I did take some courses. I took one drawing class from NYU continuing education, and one painting class, also from NYU continuing education. And both of them were really great. And then I took a botanical drawing class from the New York Botanical Society. And that was mind-blowing. I will say that, because you start to get into 3D planes and being very precise and very exact. And I'd never learned how to draw in, like, the technique of drawing in 3D. I understand, 2D perspective, but 3D perspective, that was something I didn't expect to learn it from a botanical lesson, but there it is. And then also how to start a drawing, so how to start a painting, and then taking classes with Doni McManus here. I join in the class and learn gesture drawing and proportions, and the classical drawing method has really been enjoyable for me and made me feel like, oh, I can achieve a human form. I can achieve, and it also helps me to think about the dog's structure, skeletal structure, and bone structure and how it all goes together so that you can kind of understand it more. And then also it helped me kind of break down the dogs, because I was typically doing my Airedales and then I'd do other terriers, and they're pretty, standard. And then I did a Kangal, like a Turkish sheepdog. And I just thought I was trying to understand kind of all the structure of the animal. And I was happy one day when I realized, oh, I'm really starting to think about structure more rather than just, the flat impression of what I'm getting. And it's not necessarily that I became like technically expert at the dogs or anything like that, but I just appreciated the structure more. I appreciated the dog more as a creation. And I think that's always, when you start to think about structure and how everything's connected, it really, you start to think of how everything fits, and you look at the wonder of life, really, and life forms. And then I still do my flat representation. I don't go too much into 3D. So that's a little bit about me and my art, me and the gallery. The gallery, I needed a personal expression, and I wanted to do something that was productive and kind of got me out milling in the community. And it's really been such a beautiful experience to set it up in itself, and then meeting people and going through the experiences, good and bad, even all the challenges of everything. I feel so enriched by it. And I feel very lucky that all the opportunities came up to start doing it, and people have been so supportive. And so I'll continue doing that. I think there'll be an evolution of the gallery as I find my way of what basically the community wants, and what clients want, and then also what comes available. So I'll speak to that some other time. And but I just wanted to have a little chat about Studio Tour. I'm going to plan to start opening up at 9 a.m, and then the Studio Tour runs 10 to 5 on Saturday and Sunday, October 19th and 20th. So please stop by, come and get an activity, or come and see what's going on and see some art, and maybe make some art with us. But just come in and have some fun. I think the best experience that I had was when, some visitors, they came in and I explained the art to them, what I was showing and what the gallery was about. And they said, I've learned something new today. So I just thought, that's great. I've given them something. They're walking out, maybe thinking about creativity more, or, looking at what somebody else has done and contemplating that. So that's the biggest gift, or the biggest compliment, really. So anyway, so that's what I'm hoping. Come in. Hope I can show you something that, gives your brain something to chew on, maybe. And I'm hoping that you enjoy this beautiful fall weather. Okay. Take care, guys. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. It's been an honor to co-chair the studio tour this year with Sandy Buffy. And on behalf of the Great Falls Studios artist community, I'm sending out a big thank you to the tour's corporate sponsors: Emily Marentette Real Estate, Brightview Senior Living Great Falls, Moss Building and Design, RJS Construction, Surrounds Landscaping, Stacy Tucker's State Farm Insurance, Diane Van Volkenberg at Long & Foster Real Estate, the Residences at Colvin Run, Blue Chicken Bakery, Broadway Gallery, Laubert Chez Francois, The Old Brogue, Oliver's Corner Butcher Shop, Mookie's Barbecue, and the Lake Anne Brewhouse, plus personal sponsors JJ Singh and Jenny Nichols Glennon of Milk House Studios. Of course, a big thank you to all those who make it out to visit us during Studio Tour 2024, which will take place Saturday and Sunday, October 19th and 20th, between 10 and 5 during the day.